Tonight on KGW News, pulling back the curtain on a brand new PDX.
Absolutely phenomenal. Makes you feel very welcome walking in.
The test run for the new terminal that's just hours away from opening. Also ahead, new details on the Sunday evening shooting that sent people in Northwest Portland scrambling. How witnesses say it all started in a crosswalk, then escalated. Then a big drop in demand for Oregon-grown hops.
I think the entire industry is going through a lot of changes.
How farmers and brewers say they're being forced to adapt. And later, clear for takeoff.
You excited to fly?
I'm looking forward to it.
As local veterans get the chance to hit the skies.
And the smile on his face was just unbelievable.
Good evening, everyone. Let's get right to breaking news in the Columbia River Gorge, where westbound I-84 is completely closed because of what appears to be a vehicle fire that spread into brush and then up a hillside along the interstate. ODOT sharing this photo of what looks like a truck on the wrong side of the guardrail. We understand eastbound lanes between Cascade Locks and Hood River reopened within the last few minutes, but for anyone headed west from milepost 62 to 43, authorities are saying to expect extended delays. Your best alternate right now to get through this stretch, again, westbound, cross to the Washington side in Hood River and take State Route 14 instead. We'll keep you updated on this as we learn more. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I'm David Molko. Now to a local DA who says Oregon's sanctuary law is keeping him from holding some suspected criminals accountable. The problem surfacing as Washington County's DA tries to extradite international fugitives to Oregon to face charges. Alma McCarty is in the newsroom to break it all down. Alma?
Well, David, as first reported in the Oregonian this week, DA Kevin Barton says there are 3 stalled cases in the county, all of them quite significant. One suspect faces aggravated murder charges and the other 2 face child sex abuse charges. And all 3 are out of the country, Barton says, until the feds make an accommodation.
Since the late 80s, Oregon's been a sanctuary state.
So those laws are in place for a very good reason.
In fact, it was the first to pass a law stopping local law enforcement from helping federal authorities with immigration enforcement.
So I want to be really clear. Nothing I'm saying is intending to suggest that sanctuary laws are not a good idea or that somehow there's a connection between immigration and crime. That's not what we're dealing with here at all.
What they are dealing with, according to Washington County District Attorney Kevin Barton, is an extradition problem, an unintended consequence, he says, to strengthening these state sanctuary laws in 2021. The issue first came on his office's radar about a year ago.
The federal government would no longer allow us to proceed forward and extradite folks unless we signed a letter that was contrary to Oregon law. And that created some difficulties.
That letter would require the DA and sheriff to share certain information with federal immigration officials, which is not allowed under the state's sanctuary law. But he says in one particular case, back in September 2023, the federal government made an exception.
But we were told by the federal government that they wouldn't do that workaround for us again. So we've been working for many months now to see if we can find some compromise, and they simply won't work with us.
And the ongoing problem, he says, has impacted their ability to seek justice.
Anytime we try and extradite someone from another country, we reserve that process for the most significant cases. Aggravated murder, child sex abuse, child rape. We know where they are, where the countries where they're hiding, we know their location, and we just need to be able to move this bureaucratic paperwork forward so we can extradite them back.
Long term, he is looking for a slight change to Oregon law to address these kinds of situations. And in short term, he's hoping to work with the feds once again to find another workaround that follows state law. We reached out to the DOJ for a response. A spokesperson told us the Justice Department declines to comment. David?
Thanks, Alma. I appreciate your reporting on this important issue tonight. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, the man accused of shooting 2 people in Northwest Portland made his first court appearance today. 46-year-old James Rennick turned himself in yesterday, a day after the shooting near Northwest 21st and Gleason. According to court documents, witnesses say this all started when Rennick, who was driving, nearly hit a man in a crosswalk. A confrontation followed, and at one point, while bystanders were trying to step in, witnesses say the suspect got into a fistfight with a different person. He's then accused of pulling out a gun and firing 7 shots, which hit 2 people. We understand both victims are expected to survive. A driver has been indicted for a crash in southeast Portland that killed a cyclist. Shane McKeever is charged with murder and attempted murder. Portland police say in February, McKeever drove into 48-year-old David Bentley, who was riding his bike near a homeless camp in the Buckman neighborhood. Court documents say McKeever had threatened to run over the camp prior to that deadly crash. And one man, three crimes. This week, 45-year-old Isaac Woodward was sentenced to 22 years in prison after he assaulted someone at a New Seasons, then beat another man to death and left his body near a dumpster in southeast Portland last September. The next day, investigators say he also stabbed a woman at a southwest Portland apartment complex. Woodward pleaded guilty to murder and attempted murder, as well as no contest in one of those assaults. Well, to a mammoth project now, 5 years and $2 billion in the making, because in just a few hours, PDX will open the doors, or more accurately, tear down the wall to its brand new main terminal. Yeah, the one with the 9-acre mass timber roof and the indoor forest. But first, they wanted to make sure things worked and that passengers could find their way. So about 10 days ago, I joined about 1,500 other locals for a one-of-a-kind airport dress rehearsal. Curtain up. I mean, who wants to go to the airport and not actually go anywhere? I guess we're going to find out today. Well, check out the line to check in. Just be really glad we don't have to catch a flight.
And you are actually like trying to test our systems. You're doing an agent counter check-in type, and we're not asking either of you to check bags, and you're going to go through general security. No TSA pre-check for you.
All right, so apparently my name is Quinn Heck. I'm flying Southwest. I don't get TSA pre-check today, and I got to see an agent. Good afternoon.
Welcome to PDX.
Thank you. All right, so here we go, from old to new. Wow. So I'm supposed to find Southwest Airlines, but all I want to do is stop and look around. This is amazing.
You're gonna treat this like it's your regular boarding pass. So make pretend like it is.
Okay.
You're gonna make your way to TSA on that side.
Okay.
And just show them this, okay?
I feel like I'm gonna get distracted by all the new stuff though.
It's amazing, stunning. Please be distracted, enjoy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
'Cause this ain't Texas, ain't no holding. Lay your cards down, 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 down.
Oh, check out the new hangout spot. That's cool. All right, guys, so I ran into Dave here, who's actually a KGW viewer. Dave, what do you think of the new terminal?
This is absolutely fantastic. It is a great, just wonderful first impression of people coming into Portland. It's just absolutely phenomenal. It makes you feel very welcome walking in. But so far, in my opinion, everything's going very smooth.
So far, so good?
Yeah, so far, so good.
Awesome.
Everything in a tree. Sir, I can take you right over here. You have your shoes off, sir?
Shoes. All right, quick time check here. About 45 minutes from check-in through the security line. Might have missed the flight. Now we gotta find the carpet. All right, finally found it. Just one last thing to do. Okay, in all fairness to the folks at PDX, they had limited TSA staffing. After all, they had to run the current checkpoints at the same time for real passengers. But you know what? It was a lot of fun. Some people even had to check fake bags to make sure it all kind of worked together. The airport folks also got a lot of feedback around the size of signs and not enough seating. And I got to leave with these. We got a circa 1988 carpet hat. Check out that, complete with a pair of aviators and, of course, the socks. I'll be wearing them tomorrow. KGW will be live at PDX on Tuesday with the opening day buzz, the history, the carpet, and so much more. China Green will be there starting at 5 a.m. on Sunrise, and I'll pick up tomorrow afternoon starting at 4, yes, with the socks right here on KGW. All right, moving on now. A popular downtown Vancouver consignment store that was set to close after nearly 20 years just got a lifeline. Divine Consign, love the name, is a nonprofit that's always been volunteer run. It's given nearly $2 million in proceeds to good causes along the way, but that business model was no longer working and a plan to close this month. That is until one of the volunteer vendors saved the day.
And his name is Jay Sanchez. And he finally said the end of last week, I just can't let it go. I just love the place so much, and I love to work with furniture, and I just want to take it on. So we said that would be wonderful, and so he is going to take it on, and he'll make it even greater than it is right now.
All smiles there. Once the change is made, though, Divine Consign will no longer be a nonprofit. Well, you're watching KGW News, and still to come at 11 on this Tuesday, a bitter taste for some local hop growers, how the big picture is now shrinking for local brewers and their suppliers. Plus, meet the local veterans proving you're never too old to fulfill a lifelong dream.
And I'm Matt Safino. We didn't get much sun here in the valley. Did up in the mountain for a while, then that marine layer cloud cover began to roll back on in. We are cloudy in Portland right now, but we've got sun in the forecast for tomorrow. The weekend, though, some changes in the forecast and may bring some thunderstorms.